For life.
Yeah. Bullet cast. What's going on? Stacy. This elite podcast in here. Ain't nobody better. Look. Yeah. Listen to us every time we live in the side. When you turn it on, it's just defining the mind. If you feel it, our opinions is great. When everything we move.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am the microphone messiah. This is episode 291 of the Bullet Cast. I am here with Brandon Tanguma, and we have a lot to cover. Brian Tronick is not here. Yeah, that's about it. How are you doing, bud?
Hey, Phil, doing just fine. We're doing this very, very late, which is the reason why Brian was unable to join us because, he has a child, a small human that relies on him to, stay alive, take care of itself. So adequate reason this time for him to miss the show.
Sure. Absolutely.
No shade for now. Maybe wait a little bit longer. Maybe we'll get some. Who knows?
You never know. Surza interview. It has dropped. The Self-Revolutionary. What'd you think?
Well, Philip, it was a great interview. Unfortunately, I wasn't there. So the YouTube, the YouTube video is still cool. Still tell everyone to go watch it. But that being said, interested, to be honest. Never heard of this person. Never known to seen any of his stuff. So his story was quite interesting. I see by Philip, he probably thinks I didn't actually listen to the interview or watch the interview. And he's lying. He would be incorrect because I did listen to this interview. You know how I know? Because he has been he's, I think, the same age as my brother. I feel very old because he was like 13 or something when CM Punk and John Cena were doing the damn thing. And he was he was an actor. He acted for like 8 years. And I listened and you actually did ask the hot tub time machine question unprompted by me. And I actually got like 2 hot tub time machine questions. So yeah, I did listen. Bam. He comes out to like a Michael Jackson remix song.
Yes. Oh, yes. I had to drop it on MJ's birthday. It was great. Love Surza. The Ebony Express tag team is coming soon. Be on the lookout for that. Yes, sir. Surza's story is great. Go check it out. I love Surza. Hopefully he can get to the Fale Dojo. No, he is going. That's the plan. So apparently Triple H is going to be changing some designs of championships. I'm not opposed to it. I let's see what they can do. I want them to really change the IC title. I kind of got used to it. I had gotten so used to the classic white Reggie Parks version of the championship. What are your thoughts on Triple H changing title designs, and what titles do you think need to be changed?
It's interesting, especially with Triple H wanting to have his own stamp. It would make sense to kind of change the logos and change the titles to make it kind of cement that this is a new era of WWE. IC title, US title, those ones just kind of got redone, so I don't think you change those. Don't really have to touch those ones. I think everything else, the men's titles, the women's titles, and the tag team titles. I mean, especially if you are going to move forward with maybe just one singles title or, one major singles title, one tag team title, obviously consolidate it into one title. But I don't really like the design overall of the WWE and the women's titles just because it is a giant WWE logo. Now, for branding purposes, that's great because you know exactly what it is when you see it, but from an aesthetic purpose, it could be so much better. So hopefully we add a little more pizzazz. Like as I said, I understand why they do it. So you can still put a giant WWE logo on the front of it, but maybe, fill it out more and not have dead space and just have leather behind it.
I think we're going to get a classic, a regal look to the championships. Maybe the big gold finally comes back. Like we don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited for the changing of championships. So the rumors going around that apparently Raw and SmackDown are going to be moving to Netflix, possibly leaving Fox and USA. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the TV landscape is constantly changing. USA pretty much like that's all they have at this point is just like reruns, movies, and Raw. So it would be very interesting to see them, step away and not divvy up the money. Fox obviously has money. They're in the sports game, and a lot of money is getting thrown at for sports because it's live programming. And everyone, that's what people want nowadays. They want people to tune in to watch those commercials, and WWE is one of those quote unquote DVR proof things, even though a lot of people do watch it on DVR. But there's also a lot of people who watch it live and want to watch the commercials. Now, Netflix, there's news about them, losing money and, throwing all this money at for Stranger Things and like the very big projects, and kind of the lower level things are being cut. So now could it possibly happen that WWE goes exclusively on Netflix? Absolutely. Now, but I also wouldn't be shocked if there is some sort of deal in place to where you can get WWE kind of like Hulu, like a Hulu type thing where you can watch it later or something like that. But I think WWE for the next at least decade is going to stay on some sort of cable channel just because of how the landscape is. And who knows? I mean, in 5 years, maybe everyone's going to just be watching Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime and HBO Max. Well, we don't know about HBO Max because they're going down a little thing, but we're trying to keep it short today, especially with all the pay-per-views we got to cover later.
Yes. I mean, WWE. I mean, they did such a great thing with the network and everything, which I thought when WWE Network came out that was just going to be how they were going to operate. How all their programming was going to be on exclusively there, nowhere else. But you make all the big money from the TV deals and whatnot. I mean, Fox paid $1 billion for Smackdown for 4 years, so it's interesting, just the streaming world that we're living in and all this. It's exciting. All right, Kevin Nash has his own cannabis line now. He's entered the cannabis game, and he's also been going back and forth on Twitter with Will Ospreay.
Yeah, good for Kevin Nash, making money, and yeah, that little back and I guess kind of a back and forth from him and Will Ospreay. Not a good look from Will. Ospreay isn't exactly the most loved person on the internet. And if you don't know, there was like a tweet out there that said that Will Ospreay had more 5-star matches in a week or a month than all these legends combined. And so, Will Ospreay was feeling himself. And then Kevin Nash kind of checked him and was like, how much merch has he sold? And then Ospreay just responds like 3 days later, just with the whole torn quad joke, which
that's old, bro.
It's old. And Kevin Nash is making a fantastic point. Like, I know in this day and age, everybody wants to talk about how great matches are, but I try to reiterate and remind people like, wrestling is still a business, and it doesn't matter how great or how crappy your matches are. If you're drawing money and making money, that's all that matters.
Like, we need to stop with Meltzer rated this. Like, no, the ratings don't matter. Don't look at one guy to be the end-all, be-all of how great a wrestling match is. Decide for yourself, people. Decide for yourself. Moving on from that, the Velveteen Dream was arrested for apparently some kind of drug paraphernalia possession. What are your thoughts on Patrick Clark getting arrested? He put out something on social media for the first time in like a year and a half, and he's campaigning to get his job back.
I mean, as you said, we have not heard really anything about Velveteen Dream since he's been released, except for this. So, not good news on his front. And I mean, Triple H and WWE kept him on probably longer than they should have, which kind of shows that either the talent, the faith, whatever you want to call it, about in him. But I think at this point, it's just kind of time to cut bait. And I've even seen like he was supposed to come back on some indie show, and that indie show advertised it, and there was such a backlash that they had to take him off. So I don't know really I understand everyone should get second chances and stuff, but I just don't know how he's going to come back if he's going to get that type of response if he ever gets back in the wrestling world, unless he's on like a very, very low level indie that not a lot of people will see. But it's the internet age and everyone sees everything.
This is true. It's unfortunate for Patrick Clark, man. Charisma out the door. Oh God, what could have been? What could have been? Like, I think Goldust was still around. Like when he was like hot, I think Goldust was still there at the time. If we could have got a Velveteen Dream Goldust face off, imagine the charisma that would have been oozing throughout that arena. It would have been fantastic.
I mean, I think honestly, you would say he was the most highly touted prospect since like Drew McIntyre, just because he had we saw him on Tough Enough, and he was the wrestling fan, and we didn't see too much of him. But then once he got to NXT, the Velveteen Dream character really started taking off, and then he started having like really good matches, and I was like, oh, there's no way they messed this up. WWE didn't mess it up. He messed it up.
That's kind of a bar, my guy.
Hey, I'm out here, late night grinding. That's when I do my best thinking.
So we need a podcast at this time from now on. That's what you're telling me.
Maybe. Then Brian's definitely not going to show
up. Matt Riddle drama. So Matt, great promo by Seth Rollins. And let's talk about your family. Let's talk about your wife. Started calling him a bitch and stuff. I was like, oh my God, Jesus. Anyway, Matt Riddle's ex has come out with some more things that Matt did. She released DMs from her and I guess some other lady that had a sexual experience with Mr. Riddle. Matt Riddle got his first name back, by the way. What are your thoughts on all this? The name coming back, the DMs leaked, the Rollins promo.
I loved the name coming back. Loved the promo. I thought it was, really good, intense. I mean, even just before they did the whole thing after the fact, I thought it was really good and intense. And then, they did that whole thing at the very, after when they came back from commercial and Seth did that and were very over the top. And if you haven't seen it, it very much reminded me of Daniel Cormier and John Jones. They did something similar to where they were in, satellite interviews. And I forget who started it, if it was DC or John Jones, but they went very over, someone said something out of pocket and then it just escalated very quickly. And so I got, John Jones DC vibes from that. But the DM or the text message stuff, I mean, there's been so much stuff about Matt Riddle in his personal life. Now, obviously, like the speaking out stuff, that's very serious. Now, this one, it's more just how he gets his rocks off. And, we're not going to detail it by any means. If you want to go see it, you can see it yourself. I did not like how the lady tagged just random people. She was tagging Alexa Bliss, Stephanie, Triple H. I mean, I guess Triple H definitely makes sense because they're their boss, but she tagged Dewdrop and Alexa Bliss and why? That makes no sense, but
trying to get all the women to rally together. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I didn't know she was tagging all those people. I hadn't heard about that. Hey, it is what it is. If like Brandon said, if you want to go actually read about it in detail, you can go do so. We don't have time for that here. We have a lot to do. We're almost to the predictions. What 20 something minutes in, or possibly? It's great. This day in wrestling. Happy birthday, Jeff Hardy. He's 45. Happy birthday, Athena, the former Ember Moon, is 34. And happy birthday to Hardcore Country, Mickie James, friend of the show. She's 43 years old. Happy birthday to all the peeps.
Happy birthday, everybody.
Yes. I gotta upload the Mickie James shout out to the YouTubes, to the tubes of you.
I mean, that can be the trailer to the channel.
Basically, bro. I need to make a trailer for the channel. I really do. Fan mail and Brightest Day X is the only person that has fan mailed us.
Mr. X, we know we can count on you.
Yes. Also, Joe Doring, he Impact star, his battle with brain cancer has returned, so he has to step away from the ring. Hopefully, gets a speedy recovery and he can come back soon.
Yep. T's and P's.
All right, in Brightest Day X,
Mr. X again.
There are reported rumors that internally there have been discussions of Roman possibly losing the title sooner rather than later. How much longer will Roman remain champion? Could it go to a 3-year run? Yes, we need that. We absolutely look. He celebrated 2 years as champion. This is the greatest run of the modern era. I'll say it. Look, man, I'm not opposed to him being champion for that long. We need something like this. Long runs like this are fresh. A typical long run in WWE is what 5 or 6 months? If that. Yeah, so we need this. Look, man, I don't know what Triple H has planned. And honestly, we don't know. We don't know if the way Triple H books Roman to lose the title, we don't know if it will be as impactful if Vince were to have booked it if he were still in power. We don't know what's going to happen, but Roman needs to stay champion. He needs to stay champion for this bit of time. Drew doesn't need to beat him. Drew doesn't need the rub. Whoever beats Roman Reigns gets the rub of beating the guy who beat the guy who ended the streak. That's what all this is about.
Mr. X, all I'll say is stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All right. He also says, with the main roster talent showing up on NXT this week, are they trying like crazy to make sure NXT Europe kicks off on the right foot? And do you think this will, or do you think that this new brand will be better than NXT UK, or will it fall by the wayside just like its predecessor? Honestly, it could start off hot like NXT UK did, and then it could, become what NXT UK became, or it could start off very slow and become very hot, or it could just be a flop and continue to be a flop, or it could start off hot and stay hot. There are a lot of scenarios with NXT Europe, but I think they're gonna really. I mean, they took their time with NXT UK, but I think they're really gonna try to mold this one to be different, but have some of the similarities in class that NXT UK did. You see what I'm saying?
I'm still waiting to see like actual, like physical, evidence that there is going to be such a thing as NXT Europe. Like, who knows if that was just things management said to kind of keep people, at bay and just be like, look, we're releasing these people, but we're going to keep you guys, or we're going to do this NXT Europe thing. Don't worry, but I'll believe it when I see it. But that being said, obviously, we did we said the whole thing with Vince, with like, brand new toy gets excited. We don't know what's going to happen with that. Obviously, if you launch a new brand, you're going to have new television shows, new properties, whatever. You're going to put into, like, main event was a very big deal the first night. And then it just turned into main event that no one ever talks about. So maybe I'm not saying NXT Europe is going to turn into that, but if it goes in the direction of, I mean, we've always kind of said, like, Major League, WWE, AAA, NXT, AA, Evolve, or whatever. Maybe that's what NXT Europe is, or as I said last week, like an NFL, like NFL Europe, or it's like, its own separate thing. And obviously it's like a lower level than WWE. Who knows what it's going to be, but I mean, there's, as we're going to talk about Worlds Collide, there's still a lot of talented people there in terms of the European side of things. And I think they'd be more, worthwhile if they're over in the States, whether that be on NXT proper or on the main roster.
That is very plausible. Very plausible. Plausible. Last thing Mr. X says. I saw this question somewhere else, and I thought it would be interesting to present to you. Oh, thank you. If you could switch WWE wrestlers, would you like to trade to AEW, and which AEW would you like to trade to WWE? Keep in mind, this is for wrestlers you think would get a better presentation in a different company. Okay.
Now, this would be a fantastic question 6 weeks ago when Vince was still in power.
Yeah.
But now, like, Triple H, we're starting to see Triple H kind of have that NXT black and gold type thing again.
Okay, let's narrow it down to 3 from each. Let's do that. Do you want to go? Do you want to go first, or
we each get 3 from each side, so we each get 6.
3, yeah, so 6 total. So I'll go first. WWE to AEW. People wanted him to go so bad. They wanted that old Kevin Steen back. Let's see Kevin Steen in AEW. Let's honestly see what happens. And then I'm trying to think who else. I'll pick a woman. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Charlotte Flair. Let's see how Charlotte Flair does in that women's division. I mean, obviously she's going to elevate it immensely. We'll get the Brit Baker Charlotte Flair match that I know I've seen people talk about on Twitter and things like that. We can get Charlotte and Thunder Rosa. We can get Charlotte and Jade. That's just physically just the aesthetic of that is awesome. Excuse me. And then lastly, I'm gonna go with Roman Reigns. Now I know we said better presentation, but just imagine the character that Roman is doing now in a hot AEW crowd, working his style. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be money TV. Him talking back to all those neck beards or something like that. Hell, I'd throw Corbin in the mix too if I could have a fourth. But yeah, just Roman talking down to all of those fans like that. That's grade A television. We're talking like those fans would definitely throw trash in the ring like they did when Hogan joined the NWO back in '96.
So WWE to AEW, I gotta agree with you that I really would like to see like a top tier woman jump ship to AEW just to see what that would do for that division. And for the most part, we haven't seen that. I mean, God bless Toni Storm and Athena, but they're not a Bayley, a 4 horsewoman. So we almost had it. At least we thought we almost had it. I would love to see what Sasha Banks could do in AEW and just see her kind of unleashed and, have a bunch of matches. She can go over to Japan or Mexico, whatever she wants to do. So I think Sasha Banks would be one. And then two other ones. I'll go Shinsuke Nakamura. He's been kind of in the proverbial mid card for the last few years. I still feel he has like a little bit something left in him. I just think it's down to motivation and what he's being asked to do. So if you bring him over to AEW, you have him, motivated to have a big time match, 3-4 times a year. I think he could deliver that, even though maybe it's asking a little bit too much. And then finally, one more person that I would like to see in AEW. And I would think this person would be motivated to have fantastic matches all the time. And that'd be Gunther, Walter. Put Walter back over there. He's so big compared to a lot of the other people. And we saw what he did in NXT UK. I mean, he's having really good matches in WWE right now. So I think doing that in AEW it writes itself. Now, Phillip, who do you think from AEW would you like to see going over to the Evil Empire in WWE?
Well, it's a new era. It's a new regime. MJF is technically still under contract. So we'll take Maxwell. Yeah, we'll take MJF. We'll see what he can do. I'd love to see him go to toe to toe with, let's say, Cena returns for another summer of Cena, another quick couple month run. I'm trying to think who else. I'm trying to think on the woman's side again. Who would I like to see go over? I don't know. I'm really trying to think. I'm really trying to think who on the woman's side would I love to see go over there.
I think Jade going over there and kind of being like the female Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I guess you could throw Jade's name in the hat. Jade and Bianca. That'd be fun to see.
And I think like the women in WWE is better overall than AEW, so you can kind of get more out of Jade at this particular point right now.
Hell, let's see what Thunder can do over there.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's Thunder. Tony Storm probably doesn't want to go back, but Brit Baker, I think that is another question mark, like, because I think people have very much cooled on Brit Baker.
Yeah.
And so, like, let's say her and Adam Cole go over to WWE and to see what she can do in that environment, especially with like the big dogs of, Bayley and Becky and Bianca, and she wouldn't be the top woman anymore, to kind of see how she would go over there. And I know this might be not cheating, but it might not be exactly what you're looking for. I would love to see what Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose could do back in WWE under this Triple H regime. Obviously, he's not going to have the death matches and stuff, but I think bringing him back, having him have this kind of same persona, I think, and we're seeing it translate. He's having like the run of his career right now. I think he were to go back into WWE, do kind of the same thing he's doing now,
be a different ball game.
He'd be fantastic.
Mine's going to be a 3-for-1, the Elite, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Let's see. Kenny Omega says he's the best bout machine, one of the best in the world or whatever. Hey, Roman's on top of his game. I've always wanted to see Roman Reigns versus Kenny Omega. I'd love to see that. And obviously the Usos versus the Young Bucks. I mean, come on, that's guaranteed money. Now, if we can have people go back, let's see the FTR come back and really have a run, and them in the street, FTR and the Street Profits, FTR and this version of the Usos, with which both teams are at their best right now. You didn't think they could possibly get any better. Just thinking of other names. Hell, let's see what a Jungle Boy could do in WWE with the Triple H regime. You know what I'm saying?
My underrated pick, I would love to see what Ricky Starks could do in WWE. Now, I think he would have been more fitting to like not fitting, but I think Vince could have seen it with him. He's a little smaller, but I think Triple H, it could have been fantastic.
Throw Ricky Starks on NXT 2.0, put him in the North American title scene, him and Carmelo, money. Him and Ricochet, money. Him and Grayson Waller, money. Let's do it. I would love to see Ricky Starks in WWE. I loved him as the NWA television champion. I loved his little run with the FTW title, man. I just loved absolute Ricky Starks, man. That dude is money. He needs to be sniffing the main event scene soon. Like, honestly, he needs to beat Wardlow for the TNT title. And I have a problem with that whole situation, which we're going to talk about coming up here. Yep. Oh my God. With that being said, that's the end of the
It's been a
fan.
while since we've heard your smoke detector.
I know
It's been on it's Smokey, wasn't that its name?
it's Smokey number 2. This is a different one.
Oh,
This is a different one. So, yeah, Smokey number 1 is still no longer with us.
damn. But Smokey number 2 still got to put the batteries in there because he be talking.
Man, he do be talking. All right, this is big, guys. A lot is going on this weekend. We are going to be recapping Clash at the Castle, Worlds Collide, and All Out. It's going to be a lot of content coming out from us, but I hope you guys are going to love it. And so, with that being further ado, everybody else that's in the picks, so it's going to be you, Brian Tronic, Lil Durst, the defending champion, and my homie Stefan, aka Two Little Cakes. He is going to be the fourth entrant.
And this is elimination style, 3 shows.
Yes.
Each person, whoever has the least amount, gets whacked.
Gets eliminated, yes. Something different. You see, I can be creative, man. Let somebody give me the pencil, boy. Give me the book for something. Telling y'all, man. Let's get into it. Clash at the Castle. Let me get this prepared. I have everybody else's picks but yours.
From Cardiff, Wales.
From Cardiff, Wales. So first up, it is for the Intercontinental Championship. The defending champion, Gunther, goes up against the man that loves a good fight, Sheamus, the Celtic Warrior. Who do you have?
Now, Sheamus is kind of turned face a little bit in this feud.
Shame for pain.
We've got Butch going back to his bruiserweight attire, which we will see, spoiler alert, on Friday, it seems like, for Smackdown. I think I don't know if this is the first match or whatever, but I think Gunther retains in a really good match, hard hitting. And maybe we get Butch shedding the Butch attire and he becomes Pete Dunne and he goes up to Gunther. I think that would, that seems like the next logical step. If that is what they're going to do and have Pete Dunne be the bruiserweight, is then have him take on Gunther for that IC title.
Absolutely. Next up, the EST of WWE, the Raw Women's Champion, teams with Alexa Bliss and Asuka to take on Damage Control, consisting of Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Shout out to Aaliyah and Raquel Gonzalez. They're the new women's tag team.
Raquel Rodriguez.
That's right. Maybe she'll get her last name back too.
Maybe.
Yeah. So Aaliyah pinned the wrong person.
That's what it seems.
Oh boy. So 6-woman tag, Damage Control, right?
Yes, I'm going with Damage Control as well. I mean, it makes sense. If it's a 6-woman tag, you probably want the trio of women that are together to win this match. Alexa Bliss is kind of the odd one out in terms of the other one where they don't protect her kind of as much. So I think that having her be pinned seems like the next logical finish. Maybe you have Bayley pin Bianca, and that's how they kind of, go that route. Because I think that's ultimately where we're going is Bianca versus Bayley. So I will give it to Damage Control, even though they're not Damage Control yet. They have dropped that word or collection of words a few times. It's not official their name yet.
I see.
We don't have t-shirts. It's not official until there's a t-shirt.
Not official until there's a t-shirt. You're right. All right. Matt Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins. It's freaking Rollins all day, baby.
I think this one could go either way because it is the first match in their feud. So maybe Seth Rollins gets the win to kind of prolong that. But I'll go with I'll go with Matt Riddle. It's so great that I can say both names now. So I'll go with Matt Riddle to get the win. Maybe Seth kind of, does what he was doing with the Cody stuff and he gets the loss, but in the end he kind of, beats him down and they continue on a little bit.
I see. All right. Liv Morgan defends the SmackDown Women's Championship against Shayna Basler.
The Liv experiment hasn't exactly paid off that well. Fans are starting to turn on her, and I mean, they're fickle. They just kind of turn on everybody. Ronda still in the mix. Now, we've never really gotten that Shayna Ronda storyline, face off, team up, whatever. You haven't really seen them interact too much on WWE television. And with Triple H I almost said under center, football season's coming up, folks. With Triple H, running the show, he liked himself some Shayna Baszler back in NXT. So I'm going to go with Shayna Baszler choking out Liv Morgan, getting the win, and we can build up to a Shayna Ronda match that we have not been able to see yet.
Okay. I see. I like that. Oh, I like that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Edge and Rey Mysterio versus the Judgment Day.
Now, this one seems easy on paper. Just have the baby faces win. But they have been not outright teasing, but Dominic has been, been a little brat recently, being a little boo-boo face that he's not in the tag team match. And he gives the kendo stick to Rhea Ripley. I'll go with Judgment Day. I don't have too much confidence in it. I'm probably gonna get kicked out the first night, but I don't care. I'm gonna go with Judgment Day. Dominic does something to kind of mess it up. It wouldn't. I mean, I know you want to keep Edge strong. Rey, they unfortunately don't really care too much about. But
hey, it's Mysterio month. They care.
I'll go with Judgment Day, and with the possibility or just the outright turn of Dominic going dark, and he finally joins up with his daddy, aka Rhea Ripley.
Oh, gonna be like, I'm your Bobby. No. All right, last up, it is for the WWE Universal Championship, the undisputed Universal Championship. The man who has had the championship for 2 years, 730 plus days, Roman Reigns, defends against Drew McIntyre. Now, can his reign keep going on? Will it be a broken dream for Drew McIntyre? We don't know. Is Broken Dreams coming back? That's the rumor, bro. Is that theme coming back?
He has been heavily teasing that over the last couple weeks. He did that. He tweeted it. He tweeted a lyric. He posted a really good video today with it in the background.
Really? He did?
It seems like I really hope it's coming back. I mean, I love that song. One of the best songs ever, and definitely of recent times. Phillip, you haven't said who the other people have been picking, and I really don't care. I need to know. Does everybody have Roman winning the championship in this competition?
I have some more picks. Hold on. So let's see. Oh, Brian Tronick has Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Lil Durst has Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
Let's see what Two Little Cakes has. That's a beautiful photo or video that he put out. I just saw it. And Two Little Cakes. He has Roman.
Okay, so I thought I was gonna be the hipster, and I was ready to sit here and just pound the table for Drew and say this is his time, in home area ish of Wales in the UK, and that crowd, it's probably gonna be super hot. I mean, if Broken Dreams does play and they do some like little video package, I think the crowd is going to go insane. And if they just do a sprint of a match, I think Drew can win. And I've been very vehement on Roman holding that title until WrestleMania. But that Rock match, if it's going to happen, doesn't need the title. And
I keep saying WrestleMania's 2 nights, bro. Roman can pull double duty, bro.
But the Rock Roman match is big enough that it doesn't and honestly, if you have the title on the line, it just makes it a foregone conclusion that Roman's going to win just because
we don't know.
Did we know the Rock
was going to beat CM Punk for the WWE Championship? We didn't know that. We didn't know.
Well, didn't he say like beforehand that he was going to go after the title? So it's like,
okay, but we didn't know if he was going to win. We didn't know.
Well, because not everyone, 2 out of the 3 went with Drew. I'm going to join my teammate and my co-host, and I'm going to say Drew gets the dubski as well. Maybe it's some sort of schmaltz. Maybe it's a Lex Luger count-out victory. But I think Drew does get it done in the UK, in his home area-ish. I don't want the British people coming after me. I understand the Welsh people, the Scottish people. I know it's not all the same. but Drew McIntyre is being a new Universal WWE Undisputed Champion.
Okay.
Book it.
All right.
Two Little Cakes or whatever his name is. He's probably going to be right, and he's going to be champion now. But it's okay.
Stefan, yeah, he's replying to the All Out picks. He's like, "Damn, this is a big ass card." I'm like, "Bro, I know." All right, NXT Worlds Collide predictions: NXT/NXT UK Tag Team Championship Unification match, Fatal 4-Way Elimination: the Creed Brothers versus Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs versus Pretty Deadly versus Gallus.
Now, this is where I am completely flying in the dark because your boy does not watch NXT. I've seen some clips on the internet. I saw, the entire main roster showed up to NXT on Tuesday. But that being said, I will go with the Creed Brothers to retain.
All right. You love to see it. Next up, it is for the NXT and NXT UK Women's Championships. This unification match. The NXT champion Mandy Rose goes up against the NXT UK Women's Champion Miko Satomura, and they are going up against Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport can steal it all and become probably the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time.
Quite possibly. Similar to Roman, I think if you're going to have Mandy Rose lose the title after all this time, you probably shouldn't be in a triple threat match.
One-on-one, you're right.
So I'm going to go with Mandy Rose to retain by hook or by crook. Mandy Rose to be the double champ.
Yes. All right, this was just added. Here we go. The NXT North American Championship, the man that don't miss Mello, don't miss the A champion, defends against the one and only, the human highlight reel, Ricochet. Boy. This is gonna be fire. I mean, I'm gonna be so tired from this. I won't watch All Out, man. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
And this match is set to be arguably the best one, just because it's two proven guys in a singles match.
It could be the match of the weekend.
It could be.
And there's a lot of wrestling going on. There's Effie's Big Gay Brunch. Like, there's a lot of wrestling going on this weekend.
Yeah, I mean,
not just WWE and AEW, bro. Like, a lot.
It's been a long time since Ricochet's been in like a spotlighted match. I guess he was the IC champion, had that match with Gunther, but I think getting back in NXT with Mello, I think this could be a really standout match. But I'm gonna go with Carmella to retain.
Okay. Carmelo. All right, let's see who else we got here. Oh, the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. What?
The underrated Kaden Carter.
The vastly underrated Kaden Carter and Katana Chance defend against Nikki ASH and Doudrop.
Shout out Nikki. Glad that she's healthy, because in that match last week, it looked like she took a tough tumble on her knee, ankle, leg. So good thing that she's back. Doudrop and Nikki seem to be beefing, but they seem all fine and dandy right now. The underrated Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. I'm not going to call her by that dumb name.
Hey.
They will retain the tag titles, and maybe this further sends Nikki and Doudrop down a downward spiral.
She chose that name because it was her aunt's name. How dare you?
Sorry, Katana Chance and the very underrated.
I don't know if that's true or not. Don't quote me.
No, it's her true self. It's who she is. When she gets a couple shots of Fireball in her, she turns into Katana Chance.
Why are you drinking Fireball? Jesus Christ.
Because apparently she's still a child.
Yeah, oh boy. All right, the NXT and NXT UK championships of the male side unification match. Braun Breaker, Tyler Bate. Oh boy. The dog versus a big strong boy.
This match could, tell us a lot about Braun Breaker, because if you can't have a fantastic match with Tyler Bate in the main event of an NXT takeover, then I don't know what to tell you. Now, Braun Breaker has been the boy. Tyler Bate's a big strong boy. Can he go up and dethrone Braun? Possibly. So far we haven't really gotten any NXT UK representation getting the dubs, but I think it continues, and I think Braun Breaker, becomes the unified NXT champion.
That's what's up. How old is Tyler Bate now? I know he was
I wouldn't be shocked if Tyler Bate and Braun Breaker are kind of like the same age.
Let's do a little research. Tyler Bate, I'll see.
Tyler Bate is 25.
Tyler Bate is 25. How old is Braun Breaker? Braun Breaker.
24.
24,
but he is
okay.
going to be 25 this year. And so they are the same age, both born in 97.
Oh, I was a 96 kid. What's up? 96 is where it's at, baby. Yes, sir. That's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be very interesting. All right, moving on from that. Jesus Christ.
Strap in, folks. We got 14 matches, including the pre-show, because we care about the pre-show here on the Bulletcast.
Like, maybe we don't need to do this. I don't understand why Tony Khan keeps doing this, bro. I don't understand why he keeps doing this. Why does he keep doing this?
If you're gonna charge people $50,
dude, look. You give us 7 fire matches, that's worth $50. I don't need 14. You do realize we're not going to start recording the recap until like 10 o'clock? We won't be done recording till
and all the billions and billions of people listening to us on the East Coast are just crying us a river because that's going to be 1 o'clock for them.
Like, podcast isn't getting released till 1 after the editing, because it's a long. Jeez, wait.
I mean, I do remember I can't believe it's already been a year since I went to Chicago, but I rushed out of that arena and we started recording. And I'm pretty sure it was midnight when we started recording over there in Chicago.
Yeah, bro.
And that was with the drive. I assume this show will go longer.
Here we go. Strap in. Here we go.
Strap on?
Oh, no. We're brand ambassadors. Hey, now.
Okay.
All right. The pre-show.
Use code Bulletcast at SeatGeek to get $20 off first purchase.
Yes, all caps. WWE's coming to town. I will be in attendance for Monday Night Raw. I'll also be in attendance for Sunday Stunner the day before. Code Bulletcast on SeatGeek. Capital, all caps, $20 off your first purchase. Thank you, boys, later. All right, the pre-show, Eddie Kingston versus Tomohiro Ishii.
Number 2. They had this match earlier, forget exactly when. The whole things with Eddie and Sammy seems like they put that all behind them, but we're not going to get that match here at All Out. People like Eddie, people like Tomohiro Ishii. I don't know why I said his first name when I just call him Ishii. This one could go either which way. I can't go against my boy. I got to go with Kingston.
Okay.
Kingston gets the win, but I also wouldn't be shocked if, just to send a little bit of a message, a little slap on the wrist, have Ishii beat him. And I don't think Kingston has an issue with that because I think he has so much respect for Ishii.
Kip Sabian challenges for the All-Atlantic Championship when he goes up against Pac.
Now they've I don't know how much effort you can say AEW's put in this Kip Sabian character for like the past, I feel like a year, him just sitting there ringside.
I forgot he was even with the roster, bro. I thought he was gone.
But they cut a little bit of a promo on Dynamite. It didn't make a ton of sense for why Kip is following Pac. So the match is gonna be really good. Now, do you want to have Sabian lose in his first match back? But is Sabian really that type of guy that you need to protect? I say no. I say Pac wins. Wouldn't be shocked if it's some sort of DQ finish or something and they keep it going. Because it's on the pre-show, so I don't think they care about having a straight finish. But I'll have Pac win and they can he retains it and he can go on and defend that All Atlantic title, wherever the hell that means.
All right, I'm just about to start running through them. Are you ready?
Hook beats Angela Parker. There you go. Easiest one of the night.
Boom.
Bet the house on it. Bet the mortgage on it. Bet the kids' college fund. I know you're probably not going to get too much of a return because the odds will be so high, but just bet everything you got on Hook.
The FTW title. Yep. The casino ladder match: Claudio Castagnoli versus Wheeler Yuta versus Ray Phoenix versus Andrade El Idolo versus Roosh versus Dante Martin versus TBD. They always do a Joker for that. So I don't think the Joker's winning. So who you got?
I don't know.
Somebody that doesn't have a championship, so I'd say Andrade.
I mean, it can go either which way, especially where they go in the main event, because whoever wins does get the chance at the title. I'll go with Claudio. I think just having Claudio win, I think it works either which way, whether you have the Blackpool Combat Club guys squaring off, or you can have him face off against Punk. I know WWE guys going at it and facing off for the championship, but I think it would make sense.
There you go. Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage.
Actually, I like to change my pick. I'm gonna go with Wheeler Yuta instead. It's same story, but Wheeler Yuta gets the win instead, even though he did get the spotlight tonight on whatchamacallit. But Jungle Boy Christian Cage, they did a sit down with was it Jim? They did a sit down and Jungle Boy said that he's not going to fight Christian's not fighting Jungle Boy. He's going to be fighting Jack Perry. So maybe that is a way to get out of the Jungle Boy character, or it's just going to be a one-time thing. So it'll be fun to see what he looks like at All Out. But I think Jack Perry beats Christian in this one.
All right. Absolute Ricky Stalks versus Powerhouse Hobbs.
This is one of the better matches in terms of the build.
Yeah, this deserves to be on there. I'm excited.
This is gonna test Hobbs, because Hobbs really hasn't been in I don't think any pay-per-view singles match except for like those multi-man matches. So I'm gonna go with Ricky. I think Ricky definitely has something. Now AEW does need to build up heels, but I'm trying to remember, like I think AEW does they really do like to have the faces kind of win the matches. So I'll go with Ricky Starks, but I definitely could see this one going either way.
All right, now look, why isn't Wardlow defending the TNT Championship? Why aren't FTR defending at least one of the 3 championships they have? Why are we doing a 6-man when the main attraction of this show is supposed to be a 6-man championship tournament conclusion? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean the whole Jay Lethal. Yeah, it doesn't make too much sense. Like why?
No, talk about guys leaving AEW. Jay Lethal go over to WWE. There we go. That's my pick for that Embrace X question. Jesus.
I'm gonna keep it with the baby faces. Have Wardlow and Dax and Cash get the win. Shout out to the what the hell was their name with MJF? For some reason, I keep wanting to say Imperium, but
the Pinnacle.
The Pinnacle. There we go.
The Pinnacle's still on top, baby. Pinnacle's still on top. All right. I'm excited for this one. Chris Jericho versus Brian Danielson. The Lionheart versus the American Dragon.
Fun. It should be a really fun match. Hopefully Jericho's motivated, and Danielson's always going to go out there and try to kill himself. Daniel Garcia got involved tonight because he said that Jericho can win and beat Danielson without cheating. Jericho tried to use a steel chair. Daniel Garcia didn't like that, so furthering that story. So I would assume Garcia gets somewhat involved. Now, does that cost Jericho? Does it cost Danielson? Who knows? I think Danielson should win. Like I think they have underutilized Brian a little bit in this year of him with AEW. Jericho is Jericho, and Danielson also doesn't care about winning or losing. So I don't think this is the right pick. I don't think this is or the right decision, but I will go with Jericho getting the win.
Okay, for sure. All right, next up, the House of Black versus Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro.
Isn't there isn't Sting undefeated in his tag team matches or something to that get broken? I don't know. This is going to be that quintessential Sting Darby tag match where it's just another 6-man tag. So once again, 6-man tags with the 6-man tag titles later on in the show. But even though this is kind of a makeshift 6-man tag with Miro and Sting and Darby, but I'm going to go with the baby faces to get the win. I know it's kind of like the opposite of what I was saying of, the Damage Control, like Clash of the Champions, kind of you want the established team to beat the singles people. But I mean, House of Black, I think you just have Buddy Matthews lose, or even you can have Darby beat Brody King just to kind of finish that story up. So, and Miro's another one of those guys that I think they can do more with.
Miro, come on, bro.
And Darby is Darby, past the summer, the past however many months, he's doing more stunts on Twitter than he is on AEW.
That's right. We haven't seen Darby in a while. The interim AEW Women's Championship Fatal 4-Way: Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Hikaru Shida.
Now, the internet told me that Toni Storm was going to win this match if it was just her and Thunder. Now, could that change? Possibly, but I think they stick to the course. Toni, for better for worse, really likes to keep it with his plans. So I will go with Tony Storm to get the win.
Swerve in Our Glory. Defend the AEW Tag Team Championship versus The Acclaim. Top. I love the song. Love the song. Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, possibly Daddy Ass by their side to Scissor.
I know people love The Acclaim.
Could you imagine the scissoring that Daddy Ass is going to give them if they win the tag titles?
It'd be a scissoring of epic proportions.
It'd be a scissor party.
A lot of scissor. Haven't seen that much sitting. Never mind. Just nothing.
So,
anyways, I know people love The Acclaim. That being said, like, why the hell are they, in the contention for the tag team titles? I mean, FTR is clear, far and away, like the best team in the division, and they're not getting any tag titles, and they hold all the titles, and they're not getting the AEW tag shots.
Honestly, bro, The Acclaimed remind me of Enzo and Cass, a super over act that never got their due with the tag titles, kind of like Crime Time, a super over act that never got their due with the tag titles, never won them. The Acclaimed cannot be another one of those tag teams. They need to win the tag titles. My pick is The Acclaimed. I'm not in the predictions for the championship, but my pick is The Acclaimed.
The Acclaim, I think they will eventually win. Now, we all thought like the end goal was like FTR and the Young Bucks for the tag titles. Now, once again, the internet is telling me that like the Young Bucks and FTR might not exactly be getting along too much, and maybe that's why they're not heading in this direction. So that does kind of throw everything for a loop because, I mean, I think Lee and Swerve are much better individually than together. So it would definitely make sense to get on the Acclaim. But as I said, like they have just not been like, yeah, they had the thing with the guns, but I think you can build them up more and make it mean more than just the champions be like, oh, we beat everybody. No one really wants a shot at the titles. Oh, you guys want them? You guys are not really ranked or kind of suck right now, but who cares? We'll fight you. And then they end up winning them. I don't really think that's the right story you want to tell. I think, especially with them as baby faces, maybe I don't think you're going to tell the story of like the guns just shooting up to the top, beating Swerve and Lee, and then that's how the Acclaim win them. But I just think win, because they will win the tag titles. I think it's a foregone conclusion that eventually they will win. I just don't think it's the time right now.
So, with all that being said, Swerve in Our Glory?
Yes. A little long-winded, but that's who I am. I had to fill in for Brian,
Glory. All right. Jade Cargill versus Athena for the TBS Championship. Should be an easy pick, bruh.
I don't know if it's that easy of a pick. Athena, kind of the biggest threat to Jade. That being said, I am going to go with Jade as well. I just don't know where exactly, like, what is the end goal with Jade? Because you would say like, oh, you should have her lose to someone that makes sense and is going to be a big deal. And thus far, I think Athena has been the biggest deal. Like they did kind of botch it. I don't think the Chris Statlander injury helped, but if you were going to do it, it would make sense here. I don't think it's going to get the maximum oomph that it would. So that's why I kind of stay away from it. Also, side note, Philip, I've noticed, I think that's what the third all ebony match here on the All Out card. You happy with all this diversity AEW is pushing? I mean, I know
I don't like black on black violence, Brandon.
Okay. I know it's very easy when there's like 20 matches on the card, but I
mean, we've come a long way. we've definitely come a long way, brother. But we still have some work to do. We've made some strides. But we need to. What's bigger than strides?
Leaps.
We've made strides, but we need to make leaps and bounds if we're gonna get to the mountaintop.
Amen. Right? Oh, my brother, testify.
Oh, my brother, testify. Yes, sir. All right, we are so close to this. This is it. The Elite versus TBD for the Trios Tag Team Championships. Are you picking the Elite? The Elite? Break it down. The Elite. The Elite. Break it down.
Well, after Andrade attacked the half rep 10 and Evil Uno in the locker room, Adam Page stepped up and is going to team up with Adam. I always want to say Adam Silver, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver to take on the Best Friends in Orange Cassidy. So I would assume Dark Order gets the win to set up the Elite versus Hangman and the Dark Order. So we're gonna get some sort of culmination or some sort of storyline with Hangman and the Elite. Now, what does that exactly mean? I don't know. This whole trios tournament has just been waiting for the health of Kenny Omega. I will go with the Elite to get the win here. Once again, fantastic match this week with the Elite and United Empire. And they're continuing. You know, they did say Kenny's getting better, but then Ospreay ripped off the shirt and Kenny had all this tape on him. So I would assume maybe they're going to build to some sort of big culmination where Kenny rips his shirt off and there's going to be no tape. It's going to be a huge pop and it's going to be this big deal, brother.
I see. Last up, Jon Moxley, CM Punk, the AEW World Title. So how did they get to this rematch? Somebody had a paper for Mox to sign? What?
So I really wanted Brian to be on the show because he put in the group chat that he had some issues with the build. And I assumed after watching the show, because I was a little behind as well. So I was like, oh, maybe he was talking about this match. And for me personally, like I thought they did a pretty good job at the build. Now, I wouldn't have had that match last week. I think you still could have done the same thing without the match in between. So if you haven't seen it, Moxley comes out, starts off Dynamite, just cuts a very straightforward Jon Moxley promo, just kind of burying CM Punk and saying he didn't have it and kind of said he doesn't, weak mind, weak soul, weak body, all that other stuff. Crowd booing him a little bit, but there's also a noticeable Moxley contingent there, and he had an open contract and he already signed it. He just left in the ring. Ace Steel comes out and he takes the contract. Ace Steel helped CM Punk last week, and the announcers pointed that out. So I don't think I brought it up last week, but it did make sense that after last week, they pointed out Ace Steel. He comes out today, and CM Punk comes out. He starts cutting a promo. This is like at the top of the second hour, in between hours 1 and 2. And he cuts a promo saying that like, oh, I don't think I have it, but now I'm clear to wrestle. It technically is 100%, but maybe 100% isn't good anymore. And he was being all mopey, and Ace Steel comes out, tries to fire him up. And then CM Punk, gets the big old rah-rah speech and was like, yeah, for Chicago, I'm Chicago, we're Chicago, blah, 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 goes into the crowd, really pumps up the crowd, signs a contract, boom. That's how we get to the match. And then later, Jon Moxley interrupts not interrupts, but cuts off the entrances for a 4-way match, and he just kind of responds, very straightforward stuff. I enjoyed it. I thought it was, really 3 segments that were really good individually. Now, is this the best they could have? This obviously isn't the best they could have done as a whole, but from the circumstance, if you're going to have that match last week, just have 1 week's build to get them back together. I thought it was quite well. I don't know how Brian exactly felt. It seemed like maybe he was more negative on it than I was, but I thought it was good. I really enjoyed the first Moxley promo. The CM Punk promo was interesting to see how they were going with CM Punk being seemingly down in the dumps, and then he just gets really fired up, and I think that's really where it picked up. I really enjoyed that part. So Moxley is I would say kind of the betting favorite if you're just going to look at this from a athletic point, but it's in CM Punk's hometown. Moxley, it's going to be a CM Punk crowd, I would assume, but Moxley is going to have his fair share of fans there. So, Phillip, who do you have? I know you're not a part of the predictions, but this strange build has had some people contemplating what was the point of all this. Does it end up keeping it the same with Moxley as champion, or are we going to get CM Punk at the end of the day be the AEW champion?
Moxley's on fire right now, man. It would be a very bad booking decision to have Moxley lose. Punk can lose in Chicago. He doesn't have to win there all the time. I would pick Jon Moxley.
And I'm the same boat as you. I really enjoy both these guys. Big Punk guy, pretty big Moxley fan, but Moxley has really won me over it's supposed to be the summer of Punk, but it's kind of turned into the summer of Moxley. And they even showed this week, like in Chicago, yeah, it wasn't a boisterous crowd because of the CM Punk kind of looming over everything, but he was still like over. And when he was, cutting his promos and being, just talking that ish, the people loved him. Now, is there a bigger story of maybe CM Punk being like the desperate veteran and realizing like, wrestling has passed him by, but he doesn't want to give it up. So he has to cut through every underhanded tactic to be the champion. I really do think that's a possibility. But I just don't think you mess this up and you deviate from Moxley. Like maybe this whole time was for Punk to turn heel in Chicago after having a nice run during the summer. But I think you can't look at Jon Moxley and be like, we have to go to CM Punk. If CM Punk is going to be a heel, like cool. But I think Moxley is working so well right now that you have to stick with them. And I'm going to pick Jon Moxley to beat Punk in Chicago.
There we go.
Punk can still turn. He can do something after the fact or during the match even. But I think you stay on course and you ride with Jon Moxley.
All right. Let's go over all of these picks. Jesus Christ.
Oh, we're going to be here a while.
Yeah. So for All Out, let me get my voice ready. You have Kingston, Pac, Hook, Wheeler, Jungle Boy, Ricky Starks, Wardlow, FTR, Jericho, Sting, Darby, Miro, Tony Storm, Swerve in Our Glory, Jade, The Elite, and Moxley. Lil Durst, Kingston, Pac, Hook, Claudio, Christian, Starks, Wardlow and FTR, Jericho, Darby, Sting, Miro, Britt Baker, The Acclaimed, Jade Cargill, The Elite, and Moxley. Brian Tronic, Eddie Kingston, Pac, Hook, The Joker, Jungle Boy, Starks, Wardlow, FTR, Jericho, House of Black, Britt Baker, The Acclaimed, Cargill, The Elite, Punk. And let me go over to Instagram. So Stefan has Ishii, Pac, Hook, Osprey as the casino guy. Let's see. Starks, Lethal, and Lethal's team, House of Black, Jericho, Sheeta, The Acclaimed, Athena, Jungle Boy, The Elite, and Punk. All right. And NXT Worlds Collide. Brian Tronic has Gallus, Davenport, Carmelo, Carter, and Chance, and Braun Breaker. Lil Durst for that event has Gunther. Or no, that's the wrong one. He has, Creed, Mandy Rose, Carmelo Hayes, Kaden Carter, and Katana Chance, and Braun Breaker. And you, my friend, had, let's see. Creed Brothers, Mandy Rose, Carmelo Hayes, Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, Braun Breaker, and let's see. Stefan had Pretty Deadly, Blair, Ricochet, Nikki ASH, Braun Breaker. Yeah. This is a lot, man. This is a lot of stuff.
Not only that, but over here in the Bay, there's some indie shows that are taking place as well.
So there shows. We're not done. Let's hit the classic.
There's a lot of stuff. Oh my God, there's too much stuff going on. Thank God football didn't start this weekend, or else I might have died.
You picked Gunther, Bailey's team, Riddle, Shayna, Judgment Day, Drew. Stefan picked Sheamus, Bailey's team, Riddle, Basler, Mysterios, and Reigns. And then Lil Durst picked Gunther, Bailey's team, Riddle, Shayna Baszler, Eddie and Ray, and Drew McIntyre. And then Brian Tronic picked Gunther, Bailey's team, Seth Rollins, Shayna Baszler, Drew McIntyre, and Judgment Day. That is a lot of stuff. That is a lot of stuff. Jesus Christ. There are a lot of wrestling shows going on in the Bay Area this weekend. Listen, this Friday, September 2nd, Newark Pavilion, 6 p.m., Big Toko's Kickback. I'm on the call. Brandon, you're going to be there, right?
That's what I've been told.
You're going to be there. Okay. Are you rolling with me? You're rolling with some other people?
I think I'm going to roll with you. Maybe some other people from a different podcast might show up. Who knows? Stay tuned.
So are you rolling with me for real?
Maybe.
Because we're doing interviews that day.
We always work it.
And we got to be there kind of early.
Mm-hmm.
So are you sure?
This time, there's not a Los Padres party beforehand.
Got to be there like 2:00. Are you
2:00?
That's call time is early, brother.
I know about all that.
So you're rolling with some other people.
Maybe I'll roll with myself. We'll see.
All right.
2:00. It's a little. It's a little early.
It's a little early.
A little early for you, boy.
I understand. But we'll see. Yes, this Friday, Big Toko's Kickback, 6 p.m. Newark Pavilion. Wrestling, alcohol, food, live performances from Bay Area artists, some vitamins. A lot is going on. There's going to be a 4-way fade. Fans bring weapons. Look, Tony Vargas, Vinny Massaro, Journey Fatu, Jordan Blue, Llama Jack, Hunter Freeman, Lights Camera Faction, the High Council. A lot of people are going to be at the show. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait for it. And then we have the return of All Pro Wrestling, Bay Area Bash. Chris Masters, Pentagon, I think, is going to be there. JR Kratos, Dave Dutra, Money, Power, Respect. A lot is going down this weekend in the Bay. Make sure y'all are there. I'm going to be at all these shows. If you see me, come up, say hi. We are going to be recapping all of the stuff that is going on. We're doing all these recaps. We love what we do. We're on the road to 300. Thank you guys so much. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe. Diamonds are forever. So is the Microphone Messiah. Yes, sir.